Update time, guys. This is going to be probably the only video that I get to do today. It is just after 5 o'clock. There's a program at 6, and I am still soldering cables up on the floor pockets. It has been one heck of a day, but we have 2 working video cameras. One of the PTZs is just not responding to our commands. I'm sorry, both PTZs are working, but the SDI for the camera 1 PTZ, we can't seem to find that. I think it's somewhere under the booth. So that is unfortunate, but I am running really quickly to get some money for my electricians so we can square them away. And I think at this point we're just gonna button up the floor pockets and call it a day. Yeah, I mean, I really want to get them working for these guys tonight so they can plug in instruments and stuff, but oh man, I want to be realistic as well. So at some point we have to, call it quits. It is Friday night, being an Adventist church. They don't want us working after sunset. So I think at this point we're just gonna close the floor pockets and, call it a week and start, cleaning up our stuff. So I will try my best to do kind of a wrap up at the end of the night, but I make no promises. If this is it, thanks for watching. And Devin and I are going to be on our way home tomorrow after the church services. There's 4 of them tomorrow. So anyway, thanks for coming along for the ride. We have reached pretty close to the end. We've reached the end of this trip, at least the work portion of it. We are very, very tired. Some of the things that you don't see that are happening behind the scenes is, we work until 10 at night, so that's a 12-hour day, and then we have to go get something to eat because we're hungry and we've, gotten our blood sugar dropped, and then we get back to our accommodations here, and then I don't know what Devin does, but what I do is then I put these videos together for you guys. And sometimes, we've gotten back at close to 1 in the morning, like we did on, I think it was Wednesday. So day 18. And, I get to the point where it's uploading to YouTube and then I just go to bed. But that was, 2:40 in the morning. So anyway, and, I don't say that so that you feel sorry for us. I'm simply explaining that this is what happens behind the scenes. But we had our first service in the church this evening, and everything worked. We even did a test live stream with the church just to show that it worked and how to use it and that kind of thing. I think everybody is really happy. The techs are especially happy with how the new equipment functions, the capabilities that they now have. And while there is still a lot of little stuff to do just to really put that finishing stamp on it, we are in a much, much better place than we were when we got here. And we were working right up until the service this evening started, and throughout the service I was cleaning stuff up and taking stuff out to the car and packing the car up. And when the service started, they didn't have a way for the musicians to hear themselves, so there were no monitors. The in-ear monitors, that system is not getting signal for some reason from the direct outputs on the PreSonus stage box, so that's something I have to talk to Personas about maybe, and figure that out. And so after the service, I stayed for about an hour to an hour and a half, I think, and finished soldering the monitor connections. I changed how the amplifier for the monitors was getting signal from the audio mixer, and they now have monitors, which made me feel much, much better in leaving. You know, it makes them a lot more functional in terms of providing a quality sound. In the meantime, you know, Devin was doing other things, and he really stepped up today. I was busy doing audio stuff, like I said, right up until service started. And what I was doing is I was finishing the floor pockets, or at least doing the best I could to finish them. And so he really stepped up and helped train the guys on the video system, which was great. And it was really nice to have somebody that, you know, was not only willing but capable of talking intelligently about these things. And so, you know, I was really, really glad to have him here. And, you know, I said it before, but he was really instrumental in this week being a success. So it's Friday night. We're now done officially for this trip. We'll go back to the church tomorrow morning for the last two services. And then we'll probably grab some lunch, fill up the gas tank, and head out of town to head home. But I wanted to take a moment to kind of reflect on a couple things. I think it's important that we as techs never stop learning, you know, and just really, I want to encourage you guys out there to never do what you can to never lose that desire to learn. Because the second you think you know everything, you've already lost. You know, I've said it before in the Church Tech Hangouts on air that I do, that there's no room in Church Tech for ego. And, you know, if you let pride, if you let arrogance, if you let ego enter the equation, then that is something that has the capacity to just tear not only your tech team apart, but the relationship that the tech team has with the leadership of the church. The other thing, and I think I mentioned this before in one of my earlier videos, is that, you know, I've learned it's really, really important to set a schedule. So, you know, we're going to work 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And based on that schedule, to estimate realistically how long an install is going to take. I'm accustomed to, I show up in the morning and I work really hard, and then when I feel like I'm at a good stopping place, and that is going to be sometime after the 12 to 14 hour mark as a minimum, then that's when I'll say, okay, I put my work in, I can go home and I'm not going to feel guilty about the work I did today, because I did a lot of it for a long period of time. And you know, I can tell you, because of how I feel right now, because that's what I did this week, that's not the way to do it. You know, I'm pretty concerned and aware of how my crew is doing, but I'm not really that concerned or aware of how I'm doing. And I'm worn out. I'm wiped. It is nice that we'll be able to sleep in a little bit tomorrow. But that's not a healthy way to lead a crew. It's not a healthy way to lead a life. So I'm telling you that I'm going to really be working on that in my own life, personally. So, I know I've said it before, but thanks so much for following us. And, as we have progressed through this install, we're still not done yet. They do want more lights for the audience area, so that is an ongoing discussion as far as when that's going to take place, if it's going to be before or after their grand opening on January 7th. Is it going to be before or after Christmas? It's not going to be before. I can promise you that. I've got so many things lined up right now that I'm pretty much booked up through at least first week of January, if not, mid-January. So we will see how that works out. But again, thank you for following us through this. And if you want to be kept up to date on other installs that we're doing, and how they are different than this one, then hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you have comments, if you have questions, if you want to converse, there's a way that we can send messages back and forth on YouTube. And I love to get comments, even if they're critiques. Tell me what you're thinking. What did you think of this series? What did you learn? What did you wish you learned? What did you wish that we had shown you? This channel is for you guys. So give me some direction on what you'd like to see, and we'll do our best to make that happen. So for now, I'm going to go relax, get some sleep, and as always, we will document the trip back home and the adventures that ensue. God bless, and thanks again.